All right. North Korea. Remote IT worker fraud ring. Why does it matter? So, 5 people in the U.S. just pleaded guilty to helping North Korea workers get remote IT jobs at American companies. According to the Department of Justice, they used their own identities or stolen false identities of U.S. citizens. They let North Korean workers remote into laptops physically sitting in their homes. They helped them pass vetting, including drug tests. They hosted company issued equipment to make it look like the workers lived in the US. And so the impact was 136 US companies were hit, 2.2 million funneled back to North Korea's what's the word? Regimen? Regimen? Say it.
Regimen.
There we go. Roles included developer and IT support roles that had access, obviously, to sensitive systems, per some of the reports that I took a look at. The Department of Justice and security researchers have been saying this for years. North Korea uses remote IT job fraud to fund its nuclear weapons program. It is internationally sanctioned, so this is one of their main ways to earn money. They've infiltrated, obviously, hundreds of Western companies in the last few years. They also run identity theft rings and crypto hacks as revenue streams. And so a lot of those statements are kind of coming from the Department of Justice, like their public statements that they've put out and some of the advisories that we see. So who pleaded guilty? We have Audris, I don't know his last name, for wire fraud conspiracy. Jason for wire fraud conspiracy. Alexander is an active duty U.S. Army during the scheme. And then Eric placed certified remote workers using fake identities. So Travis has to pay $50,000, Prince has to pay $89,000, Salazar both have to pay about $3,000 to $4,000 each for the identities basically that they stole. But why does this matter if you consider yourself to be a regular person? I guess would kind of be the bigger issue. Identity theft is still a billion-dollar industry, and so seeing those stolen identities, it could have been one of yours. If you don't have, or if you ain't monitoring your credit, if you're not getting alerted, you probably won't find out until it's too late. And maybe you're trying to go get a car or a house and you can't. Remote work widened the attack surface. Obviously, it's easier for you to be able to hide behind a laptop versus physically going into the office. Companies are not prepared to verify who's actually logging into their devices. That might be why it may be important for companies to start thinking about using biometrics to be able to access company equipment. It's obviously expensive. It's costly. There's a lot that goes into that, but that might be a way to help. And then also national security issues. So if you hire the wrong workers, right, that can literally fund some type of foreign weapon program situation. So like I said, they took the drug test. They remoted into laptops using inside of U.S. homes, used faked or stolen identities, paid facilitators to pretend to be them, and then companies were not able to really detect these unless they were using tools like AnyDesk or TeamViewer. So that is that. Remote work really did open up the world for some things that maybe we weren't. I mean, no one can predict when we went remote that this was going to be something that we have to worry about.
Some people probably did. I would say that because we talked about this a couple of times, like we followed up on all these things.
Yeah.
This is why, like in the blue team sense, a lot of companies started monitoring for, hey, if we see anybody using a KVM, let's look into it because we want to make sure that they're actually American and not from North Korea.
What is a KVM?
A KVM is a machine, that's a tool that would...
Like a software or something?
It's like, yeah, it's a... before I butcher it, because I know how to explain it in layman's terms, a KVM thing is like you can plug your computer into it and you can use like another computer to access like one of your other computers. But to get the technical definition of it, so, and it actually did it wrong. Let me see. So KVM is an acronym that refers to two different technologies: keyboard, video, mouse, switch. This is a hardware device or kernel-based virtual machine, which is a virtualization technology for Linux. A KVM switch lets you control multiple computers with a single keyboard, monitor, and mouse, while KVM as a virtualization technique turns a Linux computer into a platform running virtual machines. So that's how a lot of people are able to access those machines because they'll just put a KVM switch on it and then they can just access it from wherever they want to. And that's why companies are monitoring for that to stop it. Two, there are companies now, like I feel like for every problem, that's where new companies are birthed. If we real quick go back to the issue with Cloudflare, or while there probably be other companies like Cloudflare who already exist or maybe start getting more business so companies can be a little bit more redundant and have availability. There are companies that are investing into this technology to determine if you are who you say you are in interviews.
I'm not mad.
Because you have people...
Especially if we think about from like a federal perspective, like I'm not mad at it. I would rather keep us safe over here and our data and all of these things that we're working on. I would rather keep that safe.
Yeah,
than
Let
not.
me see what the name of the company is, because they were showcasing a person interviewing. It was like, yeah, we can, we can go against like this type of stuff because we know what to look for. And they was like using like tools that match people's voice with what they say and everything else. So let's see. Oh well, here it is. It's John Sasser. Someone reading this likely has a fake employee in the organization right now. Over the past weeks, I walked through the fake candidate spectrum from fraud rings running interview mills to organized crime planning ransomware operators to state-sponsored actors targeting your IP. Today, we're officially launching Interview Safe. We're the security layer your hiring process is missing. Identity verification and real-time fraud detection embedded directly into video interviews, not after the background check. Not on day one, during the interview itself, because by the time traditional screening catches a fake candidate, they've already wasted 40 hours of your team's time. Or worse, they're already inside. Interview Safe authenticates candidates using biometric identity verification, real-time fraud detection, network analysis, and location intelligence, fraud risk scoring using OSINT-enriched metadata. So interesting. And this is...
intelligence databases in real time. Within seconds, we generate a safe score. High-risk candidates get flagged before they waste your time or access sensitive information. In this case, facial recognition patterns detected the mismatch, network activity and device signals indicated suspicious patterns and location, and the individual was found to be on a number of sanctioned lists. With Interview Safe, you'll catch synthetic identities, deep fakes, sanctioned individuals, and coordinated fraud rings before they enter your hiring pipeline. Interview Safe stops insider threats at the point of maximum vulnerability, the interview stage. Don't let your next hire be a national security threat.
I am not mad, but we always have to consider discrimination. In what, obviously that was an advertisement, but right. I have questions.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, also it's like, how are you getting access to this data of IDs and stuff like that, which is why I think I had the digital ID thing on here. But it'll be interesting. Like, if you're not a person that's on all that stuff, were you good? And also, when you bought up biometric stuff, right, that machine over there has, well, even my MacBook has a fingerprint thing. Granted, the MacBook...
Bring those back. Bring fingerprints back.
The MacBook knows it's me. But how does my company know it's me whose fingerprint is on there?
Unless you registered in office.
So,
you know what I mean? Like in person.
Well, it's hard unless they're going to get the data. So like a lot of these companies, if you get a certain type of job in a certain industry, you got to go do fingerprints.
Yeah.
I don't know that... they'll connect it on the back end.
I was just going to say they don't have those fingerprints because it's not going to them.
Exactly.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that at all, especially knowing like I'm so mad I just closed that down.
I've heard of the horror stories. I'm literally, my old manager was like, hey, we have to fire somebody. The person we interviewed, that wasn't them.
But just even think about the person that you working with directly, your right-hand man at work ain't really them.
Yeah, for sure. And so it's just a lot. It's just a lot. But it's pretty fun. I say, hey, that's one of those use cases you bring up for insider threat. Like, that's why I know I was in a process not too long ago, and immediately they said, all right, cool, we need to get on a video interview. And they just wanted to verify if I was the same person that they saw on my LinkedIn and also where else they saw me at.
Yeah.
And it was like, because he was telling me, he's like, we run into so many fake candidates. Like, this is how we weed out a lot of people.
Is video?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, they got tools on their back end trying to match your voice and everything else.
What the ad there, who finna do an interview with a mask on?
Some people might.
That's suspicious. That's suspicious.
It depends on where they at, though.
It's suspicious based on what we know that goes on in the industry. Forget whatever reasons why you got it on. It doesn't matter. That is irrelevant.
Oh, yeah.
That's irrelevant, but it is suspicious.